all the fun we used to have. Even though I'm better and time has passed, now I wonder where your mind's at. In my dreams I pick you up, I just wanna make it right. I know all about your troubles, wanna drown into your eyes and feel your blue sky within. So deep in you, I'm blinded by your bittersweet shine. But get what you need, I'll make you feel free. Be mine tonight and feel your blue sky within.
Sorry, girls, but it looks like you overstayed your welcome.
This is your final official notice of eviction. You have overstayed your welcome. Your egg rent is overdue. You have literally been here for 3 months and we have not gotten any eggs until this week, and that is just not sufficient for how much rent you need to pay here on this homestead. You must relocate within 7 days or you will be rehomed to another family. Ensure that your living arrangements are kept just as clean as they were provided to you when you arrived here. The English family.
And you too,
In
Mr.
silence
Rooster.
for once.
Yeah, what do you have to say for yourself, buddy? Uh-huh. All right.
Excuses.
Uh-huh.
Nothing but excuses.
Oh, yeah, you want to flap your feathers at me? Well, I'll show you the door.
Okay, all joking aside, our chickens and our rooster and our 3 ducks are getting their official final eviction notice because they have definitely overstayed their welcome here in the greenhouse. So many of you know that we got horses in the end of December and they weren't supposed to arrive until April. And what happened is we had to relocate the animals that were already in our mini barn to make room for the horses. And since it was winter and we were not utilizing our greenhouse, we decided to relocate the ducks and chickens into the greenhouse.
But the seasons are changing. The snow is finally going away. I know there's a lot of snow right now, but it is leaving. We need to utilize this green space for what we built it for. What the purpose was, why we built this greenhouse. We have to grow some stuff.
We are itching, absolutely itching to get seeds in the ground, but since that clearly can't happen until probably late May here in Nova Scotia, maybe even early June, we know we absolutely need to start our starter soon. And there's a couple of problems with this greenhouse. One, the chickens and ducks have taken over. Number 2, we did not finish building the shelving in this greenhouse space because at the time, the budget we had was to build the greenhouse and we didn't have any more wood to be able to do that at that moment. We were also building our kitchen and doing a whole bunch of other renovation, and so sometimes you use what you got and you make do with the budget that we have for the projects, especially projects that were not like top of our priority when our house was lacking a lot of the main functions.
Yeah.
But this year, it is huge importance to us to be able to grow all of our produce for the winter for our family of 4, which is why you've seen that we have been working so tirelessly on our pantry. And right now, that pantry has 0 food to be put into it that have not been canning or preserving or doing anything because I don't want to use grocery store produce to do that. I want to use our very own produce from our garden. If you've been watching our channel for a long time, you know that we've kind of established a little bit of a green thumb over the past few years through trial and error at our old house. You saw we had some beautiful yields from that garden, and we have 4 acres now, so we want to get starters going in here. We also don't want to feed 3,000 sunflower seeds to the birds this year, and so we need to relocate our hens and our rooster and our ducks, which means we need some building materials to be able to do that. But something else kind of like fell in the driveway, literally, and so we want to talk to you about that idea as well. They're like, no, you just told us we were evicted and now you want to snuggle?
Right? How dare you?
How dare you?
It's time.
It's time. The weather is, hopefully, fingers crossed, changing. We have had actually a surprisingly nice winter here in Nova Scotia. When we arrived here, we had so many people that told us that the winters were going to be terrible here and how we'd be snowed in a ton and it would just be like tons of winter storms, super icy roads. We'd get lots of home days with the boys for school closures, and we have had quite a few home days with the boys this winter. which has been so nice to have. We'll take any additional days that the school wants to close, because as you know, our boys are learning so many things when we're home. We do so many emergent activities with them, and so when they're home, they're still having a lot of learning happening. But we only had, I'd say, one weekend when we were pretty much snowed in, and we were glad that we were really stocked up, which is one of the reasons why I feel it's so important for us to have tons of food here on property all the time. It really is. We had Hurricane Fiona this year. We were 11 days without power. We've had a few good winter storms. We keep, fuel here for the generator. We always need to be reminding ourselves that we need to make sure that we have everything here on property to survive for a substantial amount of time in case we ever were snowed in or stuck from a storm or anything like that. It is just a nice peace of mind if we have a really nice full pantry. So using this greenhouse is going to be crucial for us to be able to get things started, because we are going to build raised beds this year and utilize a huge garden space.
Now that being said, almost fell out the coop or the greenhouse. What do I call it? The coop de greenhouse. We are getting some of my favorite food that I enjoy to eat, and it's a kind of a tradition in the English family that you have to be able to cook this.
I've mastered it, you two family. I'm officially in English.
I wouldn't say on camera that it's better than my mom's, but I wouldn't say that it wasn't.
Depends on who's watching the video.
Yeah. So, Mom, if you're watching this video right now, it's a perfect opportunity for you to just skip maybe a couple seconds. Elisia's turkeys
I was going to say, I am holding a hammer.
Yeah. Turkey. Turkey is my absolute favorite food, and in our house, it's everyone's favorite food, and we have a turkey as much as we possibly can. We're gonna try growing our own turkeys, and we have a few feather friends coming, and some that I am so excited. We have some red bourbon turkeys coming, little chicks, and some normal turkeys?
I'm not sure that I openly discussed this at home when I came home from grocery shopping last time, but we paid upwards of $65 plus tax for what I would consider a glorified chicken for our turkey. This was the smallest turkey we've ever purchased, and it wasn't even the brand that we normally buy. And to be completely honest, buying meat from the grocery store isn't our number one choice of things to do, but we're just learning where we can get other resource foods for our family where we live here in Nova Scotia. When we first got here, we had to focus so much on what we were doing on the interior of the home and getting it livable that now we can spend a little bit more time being able to get what we need to, aside from that. But $65 for a turkey plus tax for a very small turkey is absolutely ridiculous. And so we thought that it would be super fun for us to be able to get a few more hens for our coop. We want to get meat chickens as well as introduce turkeys, which we have never had. I can't tell you how excited I am to get turkeys. And so our plan is to purchase enough turkeys that we can have at least one turkey a month from our raising of our turkeys, and then also keep a couple of turkeys because we plan to get an incubator to be able to hatch our own turkeys and chickens and ducks next season. So we're really excited about this milestone of something that we're going to try and save some money on groceries, know where our food is coming from, and just really provide for our family in a different way, which was one of the reasons we really wanted to be able to do our homestead here on our acreage, which 4 acres is plenty for us to be able to do what we need to do to provide for our family of 4.
Another reason why we have to get a coop built is because we have some pretty large predators in this area that I'm sure also love chickens and ducks and turkeys as I do. When I was in the back acreage, I saw the biggest paw prints that I have ever yet to seen, and I'm almost certain that it was a bobcat. And so I know that even just yesterday, the bobcat was lurking around in the back of our property. So we have to make sure that our chickens and soon-to-be turkeys are very safe and well protected from these predators, because we know we get bobcats, weasels also like to eat the chickens, and you've all seen it, big black bears on our property. It's imperative for us to make sure that our feather friends are well protected and loved and safe so we can have eggs and we can have turkeys when we want to have the turkeys.
Planning on what we want to do for our coops, we actually purchased some plans online that we wanted to use to build a beautiful coop for the hens. And we also need to be able to build a coop for our ducks. We also want to include a pond for them. But then we also are going to have to build a coop for our turkeys, and we want to be able to make sure that each of the animals have a run spot. Our hens are going to be free range, so we won't have to do too much fencing for them. We also are going to be doing our raised beds, which means that we also will need a spot to store all the things for our garden. So we have a lot of outdoor projects ahead of us. And last week we had a company send us a shed, and it literally arrived in a freezing cold pouring rain day, and they kind of just dropped it off on our driveway for us to take a look at. So the shed is a 9x6. The company is called Costway. I'll leave their information down below. This video is not sponsored, but we thought it was so lovely that they sent us a shed, and so we thought that we would show and just like give some mention to this like beautiful gift that they sent us that we know we'll make use of here on our homestead. The problem is we're not sure if we should use this for our garden shed or if we should save a little money on one of our coop situations and use this shed. So because we have several hens, we're thinking we do need quite a large size coop, but we're not sure what the shed is going to be like once it's built to know if it will be a good enough shed for the chickens, for predators, for weather. You know, we have hurricanes here. We want to make sure that structurally this shed is going to be safe for them. So I think we're going to build this shed and then determine whether or not we're going to use it for a garden shed or one of our coop situations. What do you think? Do you think we should use a coop with the shed, or if we should build our own DIY coop and use the shed for the garden shed? What would you do? We're just we didn't know this was going to be an option, and now we're just trying to think like budget-wise, also space-wise, and function-wise. We have some elements to look at to decide what we're going to do with it. It just so happens that this shed that they sent us matches our house perfectly, and I honestly don't think the company even knew what color our house was. That was clearly meant to be that this shed was going to be on our property, but it is a beautiful dark blue gray color, and I think it's going to look gorgeous when it's done. And it's a great size. We have options. What do you think we should do?
We're going to be starting our seeds this week, which is really exciting. We're going to utilize the sun coming into our front room before we evict the chickens completely.
We're going to need some time to build the coops to evict them in the first place. So don't worry, they aren't getting rehomed or evicted. We absolutely love having our hens.
Thank you so much, YouTube family, for watching. We love you.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Maybe someday I'll wait for it. Someday I'll look past all the reasons and wrong turns I took. Someday I'll fight for it better than I fought for you. Who are you to say you changed your mind?